Welcome to the Polaris Adventures podcast. I'm your host, Jared Christie. Life is full of firsts. Your first car, your first job, heck, your first plane trip. And on today's show, we'll continue that theme as we have our very first in-studio guest. He's been part of Polaris Adventures from the start. Joining me now is Gray Rentz, Vice President and General Manager of Polaris Adventures. Gray, welcome to the show.
Great to be here, Jared.
So, right off the top, I need to ask you probably the most important question that I'm going to ask you the entire time, and you've got to be honest with me, which I know you will. Who's your favorite outfitter?
I must say I love them all. I've ridden at many. All the different products we have, it's just, I would say, probably seasonal on what I have to pick. So shout out still goes to Silverton, Colorado as one of the most scenic, amazing experiences I've had on an off-road vehicle. But, you know, really every single outfitter I've been to just delivers an amazing experience in a unique and different way. So every single time I say, you know, I've seen and ridden a lot of different places, somebody amazes me with the unique experience they put together.
It's a ridiculous question, I know.
Yep, it totally is.
It's like asking, hey, pick your favorite kid.
All of them.
All of them are my favorite. All of them my favorite. Obviously, impossible question, but something a little easier that I want to not skip over is a lot of people know about Polaris. They've heard of Polaris. They may be familiar with the product, but not maybe as familiar with Polaris Adventures. Back up. What is Polaris Adventures?
Yeah, great question. Yeah, we are a little bit newer to the family of Polaris offerings, and really we're all about experiences and getting out on the product. So, you know, Polaris makes some phenomenal different products across whether it's off-road, snow, boats now as well. I mean, really any way you want to recreate and have fun outdoors, Polaris makes a leading product for you. And then Adventures takes over in how do I actually go and use that product and experience some really unique things that the country has to offer. So, what we have is a network of over 250 outfitters across the U.S. That deliver really unique experiences on those products. So whether it's guided tours, unguided tours, going and visiting the mountains, like I said, going in the desert, getting out on the water, really anywhere that you can imagine using a Polaris product, you're going to find an outfitter there that can set you up for a good time.
Why create a rental network?
How would I ever get the opportunity to go and try some of these products in different areas that maybe I didn't have simple access to? You know, how can I go down and experience the dunes down in Southern California, or go out to the mountains in Colorado, or up into the New England area and try snowmobiling out there? And it wasn't easy for me to just haul my equipment out there. I know many do. So really the idea was, how can we make that easy and not only set up the ride, but also connect you with that local expert? Because the other thing, at least for me and many I talked to, was, okay, we're going to go out there, we have our machine, but now what? What are the coolest trails? I only have a couple days to enjoy this. How do I make sure I don't miss anything? And really that's where our local outfitters come into play, where they are that local expert. A lot of the folks we work with are truly experts in guiding and what's out there to see and experience. So you can get the most of a 3-hour tour, or if you're going to go for a few days, they'll make sure you really have nonstop fun.
Was Polaris Adventures always the name for this, or did you have some other names that didn't make it to the end?
Oh, you're digging back in history there. Well,
yeah.
First and foremost, we were a little bit of a skunkworks project where we actually worked with no name and behind the scenes for almost 2 years. The idea there was to really make sure we understood things and got out there and addressed the problems and the solutions that people were looking for before we went big with this. But
what was the code name back then?
Oh, it was we had big aspirations, so seismic. So we were really gonna shake things up of what was going on out there. But yeah, on the name itself, you know, we contemplated a lot of different things. But you know, simplicity I think rules here. Like, you know, the point is we're gonna set you up on a great adventure, and it just seems to resonate with folks.
So, Gray, where was the first location?
First location was up in northern New Hampshire, way up in the very, very tip of New Hampshire. Bear Rock Adventures up there was an off-road location. Really, really cool, unique area that, again, is still a great partner in our program to this day. And frankly, their business has grown phenomenally. But what we found really interesting with Bear Rock is, you know, it truly epitomized a lot of what we were looking for. How do you go out in this absolutely gorgeous scenery, experiencing it in a whole new and different way. It's pulling people out into an area that isn't necessarily on your normal hit list of where you might vacation, but it just kind of blows people's minds. I mean, we've sent a ton of people up there that were a little newer to power sports, a little newer to maybe even outdoors in general, those type of activities, and every single person that comes back was just, mind blown of what this could be, and that's where we knew that we were onto something special.
The U.S. is a big landscape. You got so many places you can ride. How did you guys go about that in the early start to say, well, we want to be here, we want to be there? I mean, it's almost infinite in a little way.
It is. I mean, you look across the country, not just in the size and scale of how many places there are, but also just the diversity. I mean, you're talking everything from, like I said, mountains to desert to forests to water to snow. How do you start to capture all that? And really, our formula in the beginning was a couple simple things. We're looking for really phenomenal outfitters to work with, first and foremost. If we don't have good people behind this, really the whole thing doesn't even get off the ground, doesn't even start. Secondly, we're looking for really the great known places to ride. So let's make sure that those iconic places that people expect to be able to find us, that we're there. And then the third piece was, what are kind of some of those hidden gems that might be not too far off from where someone is currently traveling or going, but they maybe never heard of it or never even knew it was there before. And that's the really fun category when you get down to it.
You guys started with a handful of outfitters that grew to a few dozen, made it through COVID, and almost during that time, Adventures exploded in terms of the number of outfitters across the country. And then now we're approaching 300 outfitters at this point in time. You guys have built up this huge network, and now Adventures is sort of moving on to the next phase. After all this time, almost a decade in the works, there's something new and exciting going on with Adventures. What's happening?
The really exciting news here is we are excited to launch our Polaris Adventures Elite program. And this is, again, the most advanced, game-changing offering for consumers, for outfitters alike. Our goal is to create really the best in the world as it comes to an OEM-backed rental program that delivers phenomenal experiences while also making sure our partners that are the ones, again, day in and day out, actually delivering these experiences to consumers are enabled to run the best business possible.
How's this going to make a difference for the outfitters?
I would say a couple key areas that we've focused on here. I mentioned before that a lot has changed in the years since we originally launched Adventures, and quite frankly, some of those struggles have changed as well. So one big one is protections and insurance, and how we make sure that we really deliver on that safe aspect of what we're doing here. And that isn't just an outfitter thing. That's also for consumers. Consumers are expecting a lot more as it comes to, I know that I'm going to have protections in place. I'm going to have the things that I've come to expect from any activity that I do in my life protected well so that I can just focus on having fun. Outfitters need to be in a good position to make sure that their business is safe and protected. So, that protection package itself is huge, and we're really excited to launch an offering called Adventure Assure, which is, again, kind of upping the game and what we can do on that side of things. And then the other big aspect here is, it's going to be a little cliche, but how do we become more digital? So, our outfitters today do offer online bookings and, a customer experience that you can book before you're there and see kind of a recap of what you did. But we're taking that to a whole new level. So we're excited to launch an entire new technology suite called Empower. And this will be everything from your pre-booking experience to how when you show up you can check out a vehicle, sign in, complete all that, to your follow-up and how you as a consumer are greeted with a recap of that really awesome day that you had. And this really, like I said, ups the consumer experience digitally, but then also from an outfitter standpoint makes their business so much easier to operate and run. This is the lifeblood of what it means to make sure that you can get your bookings, get your customers in, make that a really easy, fun experience. Me personally, even as a consumer, I don't want to spend a lot of time on the computer or getting checked in. I want to get there, get suited up, and go ride. That's what this really is focused on delivering for our partners.
A lot of these changes and updates with Polaris Adventures Elite seem to be focused on the outfitter. Obviously focused on the rider as well, but a lot of them are focused on the outfitter. Why put outfitters first? Why focus on the outfitters?
That is the lifeblood of what we do every single day. I speak this with our team every single day. We're wired this way. The outfitter is the core of what we do. We simply are here to make available, things and options to help them in their business if they so choose. But really our goal from the very beginning has been, how can we have resources for outfitters to use in their business as they so desire, to really help them up their game. And I feel that's so important because, again, it's the people aspect that makes these experiences stand out. It's not the vehicle itself. It's not, even sometimes it's not even where you are. A phenomenal guide, a phenomenal person in the mix there, outfitter, will be the difference between a okay day and a phenomenal, memorable day that you're going to remember for the rest of your life. So we always do focus on outfitter first. And the other aspect of that I just really believe day in and day out that we have to think about is these are the folks that, again, are grinding every day. They're waking up. They're making sure everything's set. They're making sure behind the scenes everything goes as smoothly as possible for you as a customer coming in or a rider coming in. And that just takes one heck of a grind to pull off in the best way possible. So whatever we can do to make our outfitters' lives easier, to make them more successful in what they're doing, that's what makes us us.
Internally here at Polaris, there's lots of stuff that never sees the light of day, that people at home never know about, never heard about, never going to happen. Why did Adventures work?
Yeah, I think it's that unique combination of, it wasn't necessarily just a product or a thing. It was really I would almost say like a lifestyle that people want to engage in. We know we've got tons of customers that they want to go do this. They want to go have fun at the end of the day. This isn't about necessarily power sports or, the latest and greatest vehicle. This is, I want to go have that feeling of fun. I want to go do something unique in the outdoors. So, customers were intrigued. Again, it was built from, the ideas that we ourselves, the folks on the team, wanted to be able to go and do this more often. Then you bring in the magic of our outfitter partners and, really rely on them as the experts. We are very much supporting them where we can, but letting them take the lead on how they want to operate their business and really tailor it to the unique areas that they're in. And that combination just works. We can bring a lot of value forward, but it's ultimately constantly evolving, constantly staying with the trends and what customers are looking for, because that's what our outfitters do. That's what they live every day.
You told me once that you kind of live, eat, breathe Polaris Adventures. Why does it matter to you so much?
I do. I don't know if that's always the best life choices. That's a separate conversation. But no, I'm very passionate about this. Yeah. The reality of it is I've worked at Polaris a long time. I'm very passionate about the company and what we can do here. But I've seen the difference it makes in people's lives. This is truly people's hobby. It's what they do for recreation. It's what they do to go have fun, to relax, to decompress. That's precious time. All of us have that as a very precious amount of time in our life that we get to go and have those moments and really enjoy the time with our family, our friends, and other people in our lives. So for me, it's very important that we deliver as best as possible. We want to make sure that when somebody does choose to come and ride with our outfitters, go and engage with these products, that delivers. They don't have to question or say, you know what, I wish, maybe I should have done something else with that precious time that I have. We want to deliver every single time there. And for me, that takes the constant effort and work to make sure that, again, behind the scenes, everything's going as smoothly as possible for them.
Where did that passion come from? Did you grow up riding? Did you have outdoor experiences when you were younger?
Yeah, it's funny. I grew up actually more on dirt bikes and not the products that Polaris makes, but I did grow up doing a lot of stuff outdoors. I really spent a lot of time with family and making sure that there was those moments that are seared into your brain that regardless of all the years that you spent growing up, it's like, man, I still remember that time that I was with Dad at the campsite learning to ride a bike, or man, that was just so phenomenal when we had the friends and we were clowning around out there in the farm fields and having a good time. It really is unique to every individual. And as I've spoken to many folks, whether they're customers, whether they're outfitters, people have those moments in their life that they're like, this is just what stands out to me as memorable. And I think it's so cool to be able to extend those experiences. I had some unique experiences when I first came to Polaris of traveling to some really cool destinations across the country, and it was like, man, I want to bring more people out. I want to get more people out riding and checking this out, and even if it's just for a half day, really open your horizons on what the world has to offer. And never would have necessarily thought that I would be sitting here today being able to do this as much as we are, but truly Polaris Adventures, you can easily go on our website, find some of these crazy destinations that you never thought was possible. I didn't know there was dunes in the United States when I was growing up. I didn't know that there was some of these crazy places you can go and visit, and now it's just as simple as booking it, grabbing a plane ticket or getting in the car, and you can go experience that in a really, really easy way. And that's just cool.
I feel like you're looking into my computer right now and reading my next question, because I got to ask, where's your favorite place to ride?
Well, it's very, very hard to pick. But for me, growing up in the Midwest, in the forest, that's still what I love to do. But what just blows my mind is when you get out to some of these out west locations, up in the mountains of Silverton. I never imagined that I'd be up at 13,000 feet in a Razor looking across these huge valleys and everything. It's kind of otherworldly, I would say. So that's one that is mind-blowing to me. And then still up in the Oregon coast, dunes, ocean, pine trees. I don't know. That's just it's like out of a movie. So
you're 100% right, because that's the one question that I get all the time is, hey, where's your favorite place to ride? You've been all over. And I tell people two things. I said, if you have one ride to do in your life, it is that Silverton, Colorado Alpine Loop. It's 90-mile loop. The entire thing's at 10,000 feet. And it just isn't anything else like it you'll find. Then you got this amazing town of Ouray, 15 minutes away. That is the one spot in the U.S. that will blow your mind as far as a ride goes.
It truly gives you goosebumps. I mean, I've ridden there a few times now, and every single time I go, it gives that kind of hair on the back of your neck, goosebumps feeling, because it's just an amazing experience.
It is. And then I just tell people, if you want to go riding, just go to Utah.
Yep.
I mean, Utah's like riding in a national park the entire time.
It is, from the rental car to the Polaris experience. It's unreal everywhere you look.
It is. Well, we're on the cusp of some brand new exciting things with Polaris Adventures Elite. Gray, if you had a crystal ball and you look 5-10 years from now, what does that look like to you?
It's a lot of what we've talked about today. I don't see any of either myself or the team here or our outfitters slowing down anytime soon. We are passionate about figuring out how we continue to raise that bar, and we're constantly learning is the easiest thing I would say. So as we do this is what we know now. I am so stoked to get this out the door and get consumers riding at our Adventure Elite locations. It's going to be phenomenal. But that said, I know that as time goes on here, we're going to keep finding new ways to up the game, deliver even bigger, better experiences, and we're here for it.
Awesome. Well, Gray, that was a ton of fun. Thank you so much for being first in-studio guest for the Polaris Adventures podcast, and I'm very excited about all the future things to come.
Absolutely. Thank you, Jared.
Well, be sure to like and subscribe to the Polaris Adventures podcast wherever you listen to your podcasts, and we will talk to you again soon. Remember, every adventure counts.